What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. So if you're new to this channel, this is my 2007 Ford Ranger FX4, and for about a month and a half I've been running the Torch off-road torsion lift on this truck. Now if you're unfamiliar with torsion lifts, this has torsion bar suspension on it, as you can see. It doesn't have coil springs, so it already rides rough from the factory. And that's going to be getting into our first thing here. If you do a torsion lift, it's going to ride like a brick, and this truck rides like a brick. Now this is an adjustable 1 to 3 inch torsion lift, and if I can get under here, right there's your adjustment bolt, and as you can see on mine, I have them basically uncranked. So the truck basically sits level. It's a tad bit higher in the front, but that's all I really wanted. It does come with rear lift shackles, which I did not put in because I don't want to crank that too high. And we're getting to that in a second, why I don't want to crank it too high. So just know if you do install a torsion lift, it is going to ride very, very rough. Now getting into our next thing when you do a torsion lift is going to be suspension parts. Now if you take a look under here, you can see my control arms aren't at the best angle, the axles aren't at the best angle, and that's with the lift being almost totally uncranked. Now I can crank it all the way up and it's going to make all these suspension parts even worse. It's going to put wear on your ball joint, possibly mess up your axle if you crank them, and upper ball joint's going to get affected as well. Now luckily, before I did install this lift, I have changed out all my suspension parts, so it's all brand new, and that's going to make it last just a little bit longer. One of the major things is I upgraded shocks before I did this, but I was debating between going with lift shocks, which give me an extra 1.5 inches of down travel. Now I did put just stock Bilsteins on here. Well, not stock, but just normal height Bilsteins, and I'm kind of paying the toll for that right now. Every bump I can feel it overextend the shock. It's not a pleasant feeling, but that goes back to a torsion lift and riding rough. I had to move spots because some lady showed up with her dog and she was being loud and obnoxious, so now I'm in a less windy spot, so it should be better. But yeah, just keep that in mind if you do end up going with the torsion lift, that it's going to wear out your suspension parts a lot quicker, and you could have you could actually have problems with your torsion bar snapping from what I've seen. That's another reason I keep mine uncranked. Now, is installing a torsion lift easy? Yes and no. Compared to installing a real lift, yes. But I did run into some problems. So if we take a look under the truck where I installed the torsion key, the torsion key's at, as you can see right there, I did have to notch the frame, but I had a lot of trouble, so I ended up grinding a lot of the frame off right here. Now, from what I've been told, that does not mess up the strength of the frame. It's only been a month and a half. I have no problems, didn't expect to have any problems, and I don't expect to have any more problems in the future, or any problems at all in the future. So the second problem I ran into when installing this lift, it's not really the lift's problem. It is where, that's the torsion key, and you see it sits on that metal piece up top, and under there is your torsion bar isolator, which is just a big piece of rubber to cushion it, and that was totally disintegrated on both sides. If I have the pictures, I'll try to throw them up. I don't know if I took pictures or if I deleted them, but if I do have them, I will throw them up on the screen. Now you'll definitely want to get those replaced because those can cause the unwanted noise, metal on metal contact, which I was having with this truck. Now the third issue I ran into with this torsion lift, it's also on the passenger side, which I think there's something really wrong with this side. When I bought it, that's messed up. My headlight was cracked, the bumper scraped. I had problems fitting the upper control arm in the frame. This door leaks up here, and it shows signs of paint chippage from it rubbing on both sides right here. So it's been hit together before by something. But yeah, once I put that lift on, I noticed my torsion bar touches my lower control arm when it's supposed to be in the center. Now if we go around to the other side, it looks like it's touching here, but it's not. It's not touching the control arm on this side. So I don't know why it does that. Once again, could be from an impact on that side or just the Ranger thing. But yeah, that's the only problems I ran into when installing this lift. Now, do you need an alignment after doing a torsion lift? 100% you're gonna need an alignment. I never got one done on mine, and I'm really I'm really noticing the tire wear now. You can't see on video, but when you rub your hand backwards across this tire, it's sharp on the outside and it's sharp on the inside. So that tells me that something's wrong with the alignment. Now, if you look way up in here where your control arms connect, you have on the inside, there's like a square washer, or it's actually on the outside right here. So this little thing sticking up right here is like a square washer, and that is for your caster and camber. Now they have adjustable caster and camber bolts for this truck. It may be different for your vehicle, but for my Ranger they have it. I bought the parts, but I just never got it installed because I don't feel like getting alignment right now. But yeah, you'll definitely need an alignment because it'll wear your tires. Speaking of that, I got to rotate these. Now, what are the advantages of doing a torsion lift compared to a real lift? There's really only two things, and that's going to be you're going to get more ground clearance with this lift. I mean, you'll get ground clearance with a real lift too, but this goes into the second reason why there's an advantage to getting this. It's very cheap to get this lift. This cost me $116, and that's with the rear shackles that I didn't even put in. If I were just to buy the front lift keys, it would have cost me about 50 bucks compared to paying $1,100 for a real lift. And I just explained to you guys everything on why this is cheap compared to getting a real lift. If you were to get a real lift, you would have no problems with the angles or anything. All your suspension geometry would be the same. Unlike this changes everything. So that's why this lift is cheap. But it is a cheap and easy way to get ground clearance. So the last thing I have to say about this lift is, do I regret putting in this 1 to 3 inch Torch off-road torsion lift? The short answer, no. I absolutely love it. It makes the truck look really good. I mean, for the price of the lift, you really can't beat it. It looks great. I absolutely love it. The only thing I don't like is from the front, you can see the bad angles of the control arms, and it just screams cheap lift. But I mean, it's a Ford Ranger. I don't really go off-road, so I don't plan on breaking anything with this lift. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I have no regrets installing this lift. So that's going to wrap up this video. I hope this helped with making your decision on what lift you're going to go with, if you're going to do a torsion lift, if you're going to do a real lift. And let me know in the comments what truck you guys are planning on lifting and if this video actually helped. So I'll see you in the next video.